Red team, go! I need you to do me one big favor, Amp Unit. I need you to get up, and get amplified. It's the 71st podcast, 71 of these bad boys. And yeah, we're in audio format. We're on location. We're going to be in a couple of different places doing this podcast, but I don't care where I'm at in the world. You're getting a podcast this week, I assure you. We're gonna talk Rusev and the massive decision he has made as it pertains to the future of his pro wrestling career, and why it's got people like BC and so many others saying, say it ain't so, Mero. Say it ain't so. We're also going to talk, of course, AEW and NXT's numbers, their ratings this week, and why they have shocked BC. BC, why you shocked at the numbers, man? Oh, we're going to talk about it in this podcast. We're also going to discuss the meeting that Cody and Gallows had right before Gallows and Anderson re-signed with Vince McMahon's WWE. Cody and Gallows had a little bit of a talk, and what was said in that meetup might be the reason you don't see Gallows and Anderson in AEW. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. And of course, we're gonna talk Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the old man in Stamford, Connecticut, spewing his bullshit once again. You see, the Q2 earnings call is now out. This is one of only 4 chances we have to sit Vince McMahon's ass down into a seat and have a little bit of a Q&A. Ask him why his company is in turmoil. Ask him why his company is in shambles. And what are you gonna do about it, buddy? What are you gonna do about it, Vince? What are you gonna do about it, numbnuts? But do we get real answers? Or do we just get more bullshit? Oh, we're gonna talk about it. I don't care where we are in the world. You're getting a podcast, and it's starting right now. Now, of course, we have to begin with Vince McMahon, because you only get to ask this dude questions 4 times a year, right? This is where he's on the hot seat, and he has to answer to some important people that want answers. And of course, those 4 times are the quarter earnings calls. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. We all know the deal. Because Vince McMahon gives the same exact answers for every question, every single quarter earnings call. 4 times a year, every year, since WWE has been tanking, Vince McMahon blames the ratings going down. In business where it currently stands, he blames it on lack of storylines and lack of new, fresh characters that are captivating. But if he says this every fucking time, then here's a crazy concept. Why not change it? Well, why not actually deliver awesome storylines? Why not create larger-than-life superstars? They're never going to be able to reach what Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, they're never probably going to reach that status. It was a different era, a different time in pro wrestling. But it's not that hard to grasp the concept that you can still deliver intriguing storylines. It's the reason dramas still last in today's television world. People, human beings, are still captivated by hour-long dramas. Whether it's Breaking Bad or The Sopranos or The Wire or Mad Men, whatever. What's that show that everybody got captivated by? I never even seen an episode. Game of Thrones, that's what it was. I heard that was an amazing series. I never caught one episode. Maybe one day I will. But my point is, you create captivating television, and that's just 1 hour. People are going to need to find out what happens next week, right? Those shows that I just mentioned, you didn't just want to tune in the next week. You had to tune in. So it's not that hard to just get creative and create television, especially with pro wrestling, where there are no limitations. You can do so much with pro wrestling and with your characters. There's no reason you should be shitting the bed every single week. And as far as characters go, of course, all you have to do to make a larger-than-life character, the first ingredient you need, aside from the character having that it factor, is you need to build them up. It is clear you just tear people down, especially those that are getting over organically. We'll get to that when we talk Rusev in a little bit. But it's frustrating. Because this guy, and I have evidence right here. I just looked this up not long ago. If you look at the Q1 excuse that McMahon gave for ratings going down and business being where it's at, he literally blamed it on it's going to take time to be able to develop the right storylines for the right talent. Well, how much time, Vince? Because you give me 1 week, you give me a day, and I'll start up on that. Here we are in Q2, and that hasn't changed. You look at Q4 from 2019, he blamed business and ratings tanking on needing to focus on in-ring product, storylines, and characters. Okay, that was Q4 2019. Q3 2019, he blamed it on needing to have deeper, better storylines and better characters. Same excuse from Q4 of 2019 and same excuse from Q1 of 2020 and Q2 of 2020. We can go back Q2 and Q1 of 2019 where he blamed it on storylines and characters as well. Guys, I hope you're keeping track. My point is this guy is blaming it every single quarter on the storylines and the characters. Well, no shit, Sherlock. We know this, numbnuts. What we need to do now is fix it. It's time you stop blaming storylines and characters and everything up front, and you have to look in the mirror, and first and foremost, you have to look at your investors. You have to look at the people that have stock in this company. Look at the people that are asking you the question, why are ratings in the tank? And you need to blame yourself. Not Jim Cornette or Vince Russo or Bruce Pritchard or Paul Heyman or Eric Bischoff or George Barrios or Kevin Dunn, nobody that works under you with high-profile titles and headlines, fancy names, right? Head creative director, head production creator, whatever you want to give them as a title, it's all just a scapegoat for you. So when shit gets really bad, it's easy to fire George Barrios or part separate ways with George Barrios, who was your chief financial officer. George Barrios was really good at his job. Why did he run away? Probably because of you, Vince. But you were probably, and this was right around what, Q1's earnings, right? Or Q4 of 2019 is when George Barrios took off. So I'm sure you guys had a meeting and you were going to throw him under the bus anyway. That's why George Barrios took off. Paul Heyman, Bischoff, even Bruce Pritchard, who we've seen twice before in the past, and he'll be a third time as well, you have blamed them for all of your woes, all of your faults, all of your blunders and botches. But here's a crazy concept. Why not? Just blame yourself, dude. Wouldn't it be amazing if one of these quarter earnings calls, we just, Q3, let's just say, in three months, Vince McMahon just steps up in front of everyone, and when he's asked about the ratings declining, wouldn't it be awesome if he said, yeah, I screwed up. I took my eye off the ball. We've been doing things kind of backwards. We've been stuck in our ways from the past, and I've been too stubborn to kind of change. Wouldn't it be awesome just to hear him say that? Because once he actually does say that, then we can begin true change. But if he's not willing to admit that he's the reason that shit is tanking, if he's not willing to admit that he's the reason that WWE is where it's at today, sure, he's making some money with the Saudi Arabia deal, but trust me, that's about to be dried up. That's not going to happen ever again. The Fox deal, he made $1 billion. Trust me, that's not going to happen again. Fox right now is probably pissed off they made that deal. So when all that money dries up, that's what I mean. You're going to really truly see how bad WWE is in terms of finances. But right now they're sitting pretty because they have the Saudi Arabia money. They have the Fox deal. But you look at merchandise, totally down. Before this Wabaka hit the world, the attendance, live revenue was considerably down. They couldn't even fill half the arena at live events. And you look obviously at ratings. which if you're pulling lower and lower and lower every week, well, guess what? That's lower and lower casual fans, which means new fans are not flocking to your product, which means revenue is going to be down in all aspects. So yeah, they're going to report higher revenue in certain areas, but trust me, let's revisit this in 1 year's time when you ain't talking about Fox's big deal anymore and you ain't talking about Saudi Arabia anymore. Let's see about that new income that WWE is bringing in. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But until Vince admits that he's the main fault, he's the reason, he's the problem, he's the issue, until he admits that, then obviously he's not going to create any real change, right? Because he thinks there is no problem, or he thinks the problem is literally just storylines and characters, and he's absolutely right, but what are we going to do about it? He doesn't have the answer because he thinks what he's doing has been right all along. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you can see anybody with a knowledgeable dome piece, anybody with brain cells in their dome piece knows what needs to be fixed here and how we go about just beginning it. Of course, it's going to be a long road and a long process. Rome wasn't built in a day. But let's begin the road, right? Let's all jump on that road together and begin the journey together. McMahon just won't do that. He comes up with these excuses. Oh, it's storylines. We know what it is. I'll never forget that from Q1 of 2020 in that earnings call. And he was asked about the ratings. And he literally said the words, we know what the issue is. You know, it would be much worse if we didn't know what the issue was. That's what McMahon said. He said, we know what the issue is. It's storylines, it's characters, and just getting on track. But he said it in a roundabout way 4 times in 2019 and 4 times in 2018 and such. And he has yet to change anything. At what point do you just say he doesn't know what the fuck to do? It's that simple. And it's tiresome because this is the one of 4 times, 1 of 4 opportunities that we're going to get him his ass to the seat. And he's going to be grilled a little bit on ratings. He's going to be grilled about business. He's going to be grilled about where you go in the future. He's going to be grilled about why we're at where we are. And he just takes the easy way out every single time. He just says the same exact answer. And then he'll tout the successes. That's what I mean. He'll tout the areas where revenue is larger and WWE is actually making more money. But again, he's resting on the big deals that he made in 2017 and even 2018 and 2019. So the last 3 years, he made sure that he sucked every penny he could out of WWE. He became the ultimate salesman, and he actually pitched somehow tens of millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. If I was any country, there's no way I'm paying Vince McMahon that much money for that product that he is putting on today. No way. And then he somehow became the ultimate car salesman, and he pitched $1 billion deal to Fox. And Fox took that shit like humble apple pie. Yes, sir, Mr. Vince McMahon, sir. Here's your $1 billion. And I wanted to show you guys this as well because McMahon likes to tout his successes and sweep his problems and issues with the company, sweep that underneath the rug. And I love playing to my strengths and hiding my weaknesses. Trust me. But when you have so many issues and so many problems within that company, we need you to address them. We need the head honcho, that CEO, the owner of the company, the big dog. We need him to take responsibility for those problems, for those issues, because that's the only right way we can gain true success going forward, even be on the road to success, be on the road to changing anything. We need him to admit responsibility. It was my fault. But no, he downplays the problems and he touts his minor successes. And by minor, I mean, he talked a lot about SmackDown doing better on Fox this quarter than last year's Q2 when he was on USA Network for SmackDown. Dude, I would hope you're doing better on Fox. You're reaching a ton more people. And by a ton, I mean, and these are facts, guys, I've done my research, so you don't have to. The USA Network can bring in, or at least reach, 88 million households. That's a lot, but it's not what Fox can do. USA can reach 88 million. Fox can reach over 120 million people. That is over 32 million more potential viewers / households. Over 32 million. And Vince McMahon is averaging 100,000 more viewers a week for SmackDown. And that's dwindling by the week, by the way. But the average currently sits at roughly 100,000 more viewers for SmackDown. 100,000 from a potential over 32 million. I wouldn't tout that as too much of a success. It's frustrating. And you talk downward trends, right? And this is why everyone says, BC, why are you so pissed off, man? BC, why do you talk about the numbers so much? Because they're going into tragic areas. The trend is telling. Check it out, guys. I want to show you this. This is 2017. This is Monday Night Raw. Their quarter one. You know what? We'll be here all day if we do that. So this is quarter one for Monday Night Raw from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. But let's just concentrate on where we are today from last year, right? This right here, quarter two. So they started off 2.9 million in 2017, quarter two. 2018 somehow stayed the same, even though 2018 I felt got even worse than 2017. But it somehow stayed the same for Monday Night Raw. Then we started to see people dropping like flies. Then we started to see people leaving in droves, right? 500,000 just said check you later. And this is 2019. This is when things started to get pretty damn bad. And now here we see quarter two of this year. 0.6 took off. That's more than 500,000 just said check you later. 1.8 million is where we sit today. Now you look at where Monday Night Raw is, guys, from just 3 years ago. They were sitting almost at 3 million viewers. And here we are today at 1.8. We're going on a million and a half. A million and a half. People said check you later. And if you're going to blame the Wabaka, then you just don't know what you're talking about, because people are yearning for entertainment. People are in droves trying to find anything new on Netflix. They're going to YouTube to try to fulfill their whole fucking night of entertainment. They're yearning for it, and you are literally turning them away with such a bad product. And it shows right here. Why am I so pissed? It looks like everybody else with any logic and common sense is pissed off as well. 1.8. Let's go down to SmackDown for a second, guys. Show you this. This is SmackDown's quarter two. Let's just stick with quarter two. This is 2017. They were averaging 2.5 million on the USA Network. Then they, in 2018, averaged 2.4 million. So they went down slightly in 2018. Raw stayed consistent from 2017, 2018. Then 2019, you see, is where they took the dip as well. And they went down 0.4. And that's 2019, down to a 2 million flat average. And then they actually went up in 2020. And again, we know why. Because they are now reaching over 32 million more people. And you only went up 0.1? 0.1, bro? You do realize, Vince, you literally almost came out either even or 100,000 below, and that's with 32 million plus more. Unreal, man. Unreal. Only WWE can turn people away in droves at a time where people are yearning and begging to be entertained. Only Vince McMahon could have them running away crying. But, yeah, that's where we sit there, guys. So, again, you look at Monday Night Raw at a 1.8 average for quarter two, and you look at SmackDown at a 2.1 average for quarter two. And it's telling. It's telling about where we are headed, and he keeps giving the same excuse. Storylines, characters, we swear, we know the issue, that's what needs to be fixed. But every single year, as you see, we're hearing it, and people are not seeing it. And I seriously, I'm not even joking, guys. I dread to think where 2021's quarter two is going to be. I seriously think, you see where my arrow is, I think we're going to be right around here at least. And that's at least. And then you're talking 1.2. I don't see a way around it, right? Because this line is 1 million. I don't see them being any farther ahead than 1.2. I think they're going to be right about there, man, as an average. SmackDown, and again, if this keeps up, I think SmackDown will be right around here, maybe. Maybe they'll be 1.7, 1.8 average. But I see another 0.4 taking off. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know, guys. That's what I got on this. I could go, obviously I'm a numbers guy. I can go all day on this, but I really wanted to talk some AEW and NXT numbers later. So I'm going to refrain from talking too much more about numbers. I'll give you guys a headache later on when we talk numbers. Because we got some ratings to go over with AEW and NXT. But I just wanted to show you guys, how bad things truly are for Kennedy McMahon. And he doesn't want to acknowledge this right up here. This, he just says, storylines and characters, we promise. He wants to tout down here, the 2.1 mil, which is 100,000 more than 2019. But come on, brah. You're on Fox. I would hope so. That's the only reason you ticked up and you didn't go 0.4 at least down, because SmackDown, if it was on USA, yeah, it would be a 1.6 right now. 1.6, just like how Raw went down 0.6, I think SmackDown would have went down at least 0.4. But I think we all can agree it was better on USA. I felt SmackDown was really good on USA, for the longest time anyway. Like I said, I can go all day on this stuff, guys, and I love numbers, but I want to talk more numbers later on with you, so I'm going to end that here. McMahon, you're going to hear a lot about McMahon answered questions. He really didn't. He gave the same bullshit. We fact-checked him, and he continues to be wrong every single time. Storylines and characters. Well, that's the obvious, dipshit. What we need is somebody to actually take action. That's you. Oh, no, wait. You put all of these people in front of you. The Kevin Dunns, the Bruce Pritchards, the Paul Heymans, the George Barrioses. You put all them in there, you give them fancy titles, and when the company tanks, you blame them. That's right. They're your scapegoats. They're your cronies. You're yes men until yes isn't even good enough for you. Then you kick them to the fucking curb. You refuse to say, it's my fault. I'm the reason my company is failing right now. You got your big paydays from Saudi Arabia and Fox. What happens when it dries up? Oh, I tell you guys, I cannot wait till 2021's quarter earnings if things don't change. Because I don't want to see WWE fail. I want to see it succeed. But I want to see this guy come up with an excuse in 2021 with those quarter earnings. And when he sits down for that Q&A, I want to see his excuse when you're sitting below 1.5 as an average. Where's your storylines and characters, Vince? Fucking pathetic. Next up, I want to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, because talking about Vince McMahon is like doom and gloom, right? It puts us all in a bit of misery. We need to lighten it up a little bit. Get some fucking, get some mojo back, man. Even coffee sometimes isn't the cure for talking about Vince McMahon for over 20 minutes. But this is Anderson and Gallows. There's been some speculation, obviously and rightfully so, that there's heat between Gallows and Anderson in AEW, right? Because we know that Gallows and Anderson, when their WWE contract was up and they were thinking about either renewing with WWE or maybe going to AEW, and there was real talks, guys. Gallows actually went to Cody's house to negotiate. I mean, that's how real this got. And there was speculation that they kind of played AEW. And, just like there was speculation with Edge, there's all these stories that Edge was talking to AEW and he wanted Vince to find out that he was talking to AEW. So finally Vince offered Edge a shit ton of money to come back. But the real story ended up being Edge told McMahon what the deal was, and McMahon was like, well, there's only one place you can come back to wrestle, because it just, for you have to come back home. And Edge was kind of like, yeah, you're right, but the story was that Edge was just playing AEW, and there's been other individuals where stories have been told that they're kind of playing AEW just so Vince will raise their own price tag. So anyway, Gallows and Anderson, those rumors started to afloat. Oh, they both pissed off AEW because they had all these talks. They made sure that Vince knew about the talks, and then when it came time to sign, Vince threw a ton of extra money at them, and they re-signed, and AEW walked away with nothing. So that was the story going out there. But recently, Cody was interviewed, and Cody says, and I quote, "There's no heat at all." Cody goes on to say, "Business is business. I think Carl Anderson, just to see his glow up and him get ripped, that was just great. And to look back at what he was able to do in New Japan, that guy is a superb talent." And Cody also says about Gallows, he says, "Gallows, everyone loves Gallows. He takes the award for the most carny wrestler in the history of wrestling. He is the King Carny. He came to my house prior to their re-signing with WWE. There were some discussions. We both lived in Georgia. He actually told me a number he was offered by Vince. He got drunk and then, not realizing it, only an hour later told me a different number that was, of course, higher." So Cody says, "I love him. You can't not love somebody who is that carny and that goofy. There's no heat with Gallows and Anderson at all. I'm curious where their path takes them next. But gosh, how you could have heat with a guy who told you one price and then an hour later, after some Crown Royale, jumped his price up by a significant dollar amount, that's just funny to me. That's just beautiful. When you have a wrestler like me who takes it so seriously, I like having folks like that around to help balance me out." End quote. So, it's funny. Sometimes these stories, they break, and even when they turn out to be false, it's funny how they actually do stem from some truth, right? The initial stories were that Gallows and Anderson did meet up with Cody in AEW officials, and they did talk business. And, then you come up with the real story, and that's exactly what happened. It was Gallows that visited Cody's house, and they ended up talking business over some, what Cody says, Crown Royale. But it's just funny how, I don't know. It's interesting, Wouldn't it be great to be a fly on the wall during those conversations, It's funny how things turn out. Gallows and Anderson were closer than we thought to signing with AEW way before FTR probably got there, right? It was actually, because they re-signed with WWE before they got their release. So instead of FTR, we would have been talking Gallows and Anderson. It's funny how things turn out. And instead, whether they meant to or they didn't mean to, consciously or subconsciously, it all doesn't matter. Gallows and Anderson, you damn well better bet, made sure that Vince knew that they were talking with AEW, and Vince ended up throwing extra money their way, and they took it. And of course, we all know how things turned out. But, Cody says he thinks it's funny, he loves Gallows, and all that is true. I truly believe that. Cody is a genuine, I can fucking speak. I need another coffee. He's a genuine dude. But if you think that Tony Khan doesn't take that as a sleight of hand, if you think that other individuals don't look at that and say, "Oh, now you need a job," right? "Oh, Vince let you go. Now you want us to take you in." If you think there isn't a little bit of that, guys, if you think that it's a coincidence that Gallows and Anderson were that close to joining AEW, they chose WWE, Vince dumped them like a girlfriend or boyfriend in high school, just dumped them. No explanation, no nothing. They got a phone call by Mark Carrano. Mark Carrano just calls everybody. Mark Carrano is the dog in that company, man. He calls everybody with all the bad news. So they were that close to signing with AEW. They get dumped by WWE. And why? Why is Gallows and Anderson not in AEW then? Why did they go to Impact, of all places? Guys, the writing's on the wall. Obviously, AEW felt, hey, you didn't want us then? You ain't gonna get us now. So I believe Cody that he does love Gallows, and maybe in the future you see Gallows and Anderson in AEW. But I think right now there is no way AEW was bringing in Anderson and Gallows, knowing full well that they chose WWE over them. And then on top of that, he tried to play games with Cody in his own house. He said Vince is offering me this amount, and an hour later, after a couple of shots, he said Vince offered him this dollar amount, which was probably at least it was $1 million more. Because Cody's saying it was considerable. So, man, if that doesn't fit Gallows' personality, you gotta love that shit. But it becomes a trust issue. You're in a man's home. You're having drinks with the dude, and you're talking business, and he's fucking with you. He's saying, Vince gave me this. 2 shots later, Vince is giving me this. You know, if he stayed an extra hour at Cody's home, is Vince now offering you $10 million? You know, it becomes a trust issue. But also, it becomes a respect thing. You know, we wanted to do business with you. You didn't want to go with us. So, I don't know, man. I think that had a lot to do with why Gallows and Anderson went to Impact and not AEW. If you're wondering why, guys, there you go. Not only because they chose WWE first, but Gallows is in a dude's home, and he's fucking around with the numbers, man. He's not being honest with Cody. So you can laugh at it, and Cody can call him a carny, and I love Gallows, and how can you not? But Cody ended it pretty specifically in the end here. He literally said the words, "When you have a wrestler like me who takes it so seriously, I like having folks like that around me to balance me out." You know, to Cody, he can laugh at that. Dude, you just had this number an hour ago. But he takes it so seriously that it comes a time where, dude, when it comes time to talk business, I can't have you fucking around with me or lying to me. So that's my conclusion, guys. I'm sure Cody loves Gallows. You know, we all love people that we just can't be around sometimes. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that Gallows and Anderson did not land in AEW. I think they wanted to. I absolutely believe they wanted to. And they would have jumped at a deal. It wasn't offered to them. And you listen to the podcast that Gallows and Anderson did. I don't know what podcast it is because these days everybody underneath the fucking sun has a podcast. Most of them fucking suck. But everybody has a podcast these days. Every wrestler is trying to be a podcaster. It's hilarious to me. But Gallows and Anderson were asked, you know, why not AEW? And you could see it in their face before they even stuttered over their words, you know? They're just like, it just didn't come to be. It just didn't happen, you know? Yeah, we know why it didn't happen. Tony Khan, Cody, they didn't come calling you. That's why. If there was a conversation, you would have been there. But here's the flip side, guys. I said a week or two ago, I said, could you imagine if Gallows and Anderson wound up in AEW? The tag division would be absolutely insane. You would have Gallows and Anderson, you would have FTR, you would have the Young Bucks, you would have Lucha Bros, you would have SCU, you would have Santana and Ortiz. I mean, you can keep going down the line. Even Best Friends are starting to show you something crazy. I just showed you in this past AEW review this week how Uno and Grayson looked phenomenal. I mean, the tag division in AEW is absolutely stout. And I'm not even a huge fan of tag wrestling because WWE has killed that in recent years for me. They've made their tag divisions so insignificant and non-existent almost. So it's nice that AEW is bringing that fresh life back to tag wrestling. I don't need to see 6-man tags or any schmaz type, but tag team matches are cool when done correctly. And the tag division that AEW has is stout, man. And I'm stoked to see what all these teams can do. But can you imagine if FTR is just starting to get some buzz there in AEW and all of a sudden Gallows and Anderson show up? My question would be, what do you do with Gallows and Anderson? Or what would you do with FTR at that point? Because it looks like Page and Omega are dropping the titles to FTR, and then FTR and Young Bucks will have a feud. So I don't know what the hell you would even do with Gallows and Anderson. You don't need the title to have a feud, don't get me wrong. Everybody should have a storyline, whether there's a title or not. But I just went over so many teams. As it is, Lucha Bros are not even really talked about in AEW. Do you realize that? Everybody's already talking about Young Bucks and FTR and what's going to happen with Page and Omega. And the Lucha Bros are in that order. I mean, that team makes me I have to keep pitching myself to make sure that I'm seeing reality. That's what the Lucha Bros do. They're amazing. And they're like not even in a title picture. They're just Secondary. SCU. I love SCU. Not even talked about, basically, right? When you talk about top tier teams getting all the focus and shine. There's so many teams that are just trying to get that spot, man. Gallows and Anderson, I don't know where they would go. It's the same thing with WWE when I talk, and NXT especially, when I talk, sometimes you have an overabundant amount of talent. You have so much talent that you're about to combust. It's a combustible element. The bubble is going to bust. You have so much talent and you're not doing anything with them. And even if you did, how many spots do you have? We saw WWE, Vince McMahon did that for so long. He just started to be like Pac-Man. He started gobbling up all this talent so nobody else got it. And then he realized, oh shit, I have so much talent, I don't have enough time for them. I can't even get creative with 10 guys, let alone 60. I can't get creative with 4 ladies, let alone 24. And we started to see releases, and we started to see top talent sitting at home because WWE had nothing for them. Yeah, that's a fucking issue. Anyway, I know that's a side rant, but it started to get me thinking, yeah, on one hand, it would be awesome if Gallows and Anderson were in AEW, but on the other hand, what the fuck do you do with them? You're just now starting to full throttle FTR. Now all of a sudden Gallows and Anderson take some of that shine? I don't know, I'm trying to think of it logically. As a company, Cody said it best a month ago when those releases happened. We can't sign everybody. I mean, we can't just be an organization that is just going to suck in all of WWE's castaways. WWE threw you away, we'll take you, You're a pro wrestling shelter at that point. We'll take all of the lost sons. So, anyway, I just found that story funny by Cody, man. You're sitting in a dude's house, you're talking business, you forgot you gave him one number, you had a couple drinks, and you bullshit the guy. You bullshit one of the leaders of the company. And then you wonder why you didn't get a phone call when you got released from WWE. Too fucking funny. I gotta pause out, guys. My time in this location is just about over. I gotta hit the bricks, hit the road. That's why we're in audio format right now. But I'm going to get another coffee, and we're not done, I assure you. Stick with the Ant-Man. All right, we had to switch location for these next couple of segments, guys. Unfortunately, there's some obnoxious people fluttering around, some loud trucks and vehicles, possibly even a thunderstorm rolling in. So you might hear some extracurricular noise in the background. But that's just what we got to truck through, man. We're on location. But I don't care where we are in the world, you guys are going to get a Full Throttle podcast. And it wouldn't be a Full Throttle podcast unless we talk some numbers, right? Some statistics, some analysis, some research, some factual information as it pertains to AEW head-to-head with NXT. You guys know I'm the mad genius, the creative scientist behind it all. I love breaking down the numbers because in a world where everybody loves to talk about their opinion, everybody likes to express how they feel, right? Get off their emotions and their feelings and tell everybody what they think is going to happen because of what they thought happened in the past. I don't like to do that. I like to tell people what is going to happen because we know what happened in the past. No think, no thought, just actual evidence, actual truth, actual fact. I love dealing with facts more than opinions. And again, we live in a world where everybody likes to talk about their opinions because everybody just likes to hear themselves speak. I had to get that off my chest. That's why. Everybody always asks me, basically, why do you care about the numbers so much, man? How about because AEW is going head-to-head with NXT every single Wednesday night, the same night on the same exact time slot, 8 o'clock p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's called head-to-head with the same exact product. You're damn right. Cody, Khan, and the boys want to beat NXT every week. No matter what they tell you, they want to beat NXT, Triple H and the boys. And Triple H and the boys, every single week, want to beat Cody, Khan, and the boys from AEW. And trust me when I say this, because I know how television works, USA Network wants to defeat TNT in every aspect, every way, and TNT wants to defeat USA Network. So you may live in your little bubble, in your own little rainbow cream-filled world where you think it's not a war, you think they're not going head-to-head, you think fans should just sit back and enjoy a night of wrestling, but we need to know what is going on behind the scenes. Because if a television network, a cable station, does not think that that program, that wrestling organization is bringing in a high enough number, guess what happens? That cable station gives that organization das Boot. Das Boot. They are eliminated from that cable station. And then everybody is going to wonder, what happened to AEW? What happened to NXT? Well, the fans that knew what was happening all along, they're not wondering what happened. They saw the trend and they knew that that cable station booted that organization. Don't be left in the dark. If you want to be, that's cool. But if you're going to question why I follow numbers, it's because we have the same exact product going head to head at this exact same time on the exact same night. If you walk out of your house right now and you go around the block and you have a Coca-Cola stand right next to a Pepsi stand, guess what? That's competition. It just is. If you go around your other side of the block and you have McDonald's back to back right next to Burger King, guess what? That's competition. If McDonald's has their fries at 99 cents, Burger King is going to try to get their fries at 97 cents. McDonald's will then put it to 95 cents, then Burger King 90 cents. Before you know it, McDonald's is giving a buy one, get one free deal. Burger King, buy one, get two free fries. Before you know it, one of them is out of business. It's the same exact thing in pro wrestling. Wow. Yeah, we're amped up. As you can tell, I just downed at least a good half of this fucking latte, man. So we are definitely amped up. I just can't stand that. Basically, why do you follow the numbers, man? Why not just sit back and enjoy wrestling? First of all, numbnuts, I sit back and I enjoy both fucking shows. I have a great night of wrestling action on Wednesday, usually, right? Sometimes they each throw up a mulligan, but I enjoy the shit out of it. Why can I not afterwards be smart about what's going on with the numbers? Why can I not do that? And may I ask, why are you clicking on these videos if you don't want to hear the numbers? I tell ya, schmucks to the highest degree. Get out of here, numbnuts. Get out of here. I tell ya, IBS, boom, internet bitch slap. So, now that we got that off our chest, again, the Amplified Man is rolling, baby, like only, and I mean only, the Ant-Man could do on this platform. There ain't nobody. And when the Ant-Man says nobody, I mean nobody that tops the Ant-Man on this platform, talking about this topic and these subjects, talking about pro wrestling. There is no better than Amplify. Now, let's all calm it down a few notches. Let's talk AEW's number this week, which came in at a 773,000 ratio viewer. 773,000 people for AEW to NXT's 707,000 viewership. That is a 66,000 viewer difference in favor of AEW. AEW wins the night. Now, AEW was down nearly 9%. And NXT was up 15%. So that is a huge swing. AEW took a nosedive this week. NXT went upwards. AEW lost 72,000 viewers from last week. 72,000 viewers checked out of AEW this week. NXT gained 92,000 viewers from last week. So AEW lost 72,000, NXT gained 92,000. So big comeback for NXT. They didn't win the night, but that's a huge comeback, man. When you look at where NXT was, they were floating in the 600,000 viewership, guys. They couldn't even crack 700,000. AEW was in the 800,000s last week. And here they are, just 66,000 away from one another yet again. I can't even track the trends anymore, guys, because they're constantly changing. And I'm a numbers guy. I see trends months before they actually reach their culmination. But I gotta tell you, I've never seen anything. And I follow ratings more than just pro wrestling. I follow ratings for years now with sitcoms, dramas, you name it. Sporting events, I follow numbers. I'm just a numbers guy. And again, I reiterate, I have never seen anything like we are witnessing right now with AEW and NXT. They are flip-flopping left and right every week. AEW is winning consistently more than NXT, but damn, there are weeks where they are so far apart, and then the next week, with a, I think, average show, they're back together. Because NXT put together, I thought, an average show. So how the hell did they gain 92,000? AEW had a heavily promoted show, and they lost 72,000. Hot damn! Hot damn! Hot damn! I'd like to know why that is. And I'm going to keep cracking the codes and breaking down the numbers for you guys and myself, because I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But for some reason, fans are kind of tipsy-toeing around both shows, right? I think they're flipping back and forth. I think they're tuning in for a little bit and they're not excited, so they're tuning out. Or they got specific individuals they want to see and they don't click on until they're on. Something's going on these ratings, guys, and on these shows, because I've never seen trends like this. You know, AEW coming off of 800 some odd thousand people in a heavily promoted show this week. I would have thought, honestly, guys, they were going to hit 900,000 possibly. I knew they weren't going to hit 1 million, but I thought they had potential at 900,000. And where NXT was deep into the 600s, I thought at their best, maybe 650 this week. Because again, they didn't have a heavily promoted show, and on top of that, it was an average show. But they went out of the 600s, man, and they cracked that 700,000 code, and they got themselves within 66,000. Listen, that's a victory for AEW. Bottom line, no excuses. You guys know I can't stand excuses. I don't even care about the demos right now. And I know how important that 18 to 49 demo is. AEW likes to remind us of that every single week that they lose. I don't even care about the demos. The bottom line is AEW won this week. Bottom line, no excuses. I don't even need to break it down further than that. I do because I love numbers, but in this video, that's all you need to know. AEW has reigned victorious. But NXT, that's a little victory within itself to get themselves that close on a night that, again, I don't know if it deserved to be that close. Huge, man. I'm telling you, with NXT, with a big event, SummerSlam weekend coming up in a few weeks with NXT TakeOver, and with AEW with their next big pay-per-view this coming September, less than 2 months away, I mean, this thing is going to heat up. This battle, this war, this head-to-head collision, this is only going to get heat up. If you thought Great American Bash and Fight for the Fallen and giving fancy titles to your show was one thing, guys, wait until the next month to 2 months. Things are going to heat up. All of the tricks are going to be played out here. If you thought they got down and dirty before, just wait. Things are going to get even dirtier now between Triple H and Tony Khan and everybody involved. So those are the numbers, guys. It's going to be interesting to see, man. It's going to be a fun ride. And if you don't care about numbers, if you don't care about the head-to-head collision, that's cool. You do you. I don't know why you're on this channel, but thanks for coming and showing up, I guess. But for you guys that are along, not just to see a great night of action on Wednesday nights, but then afterwards on Thursday to kind of break down the numbers and see what's working and what's not, and what the world is really into. For you guys, man, I'll continue to do my research, my homework, and my due diligence to make sure I'm bringing you the most hard-hitting, factual research and information that I could possibly give you. You have my word on that. Now, before I end this podcast, guys, I want to talk Rusev real quick, because Rusev, he has said he's done with pro wrestling. True story. He recently held a Q&A, and he straight out said, and I quote, "I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm just enjoying my Twitch. I'm a professional Twitcher, YouTuber, and content creator now. I'm not a wrestler anymore. Can I be your favorite streamer at least?" So typical Rusev, he ends it with kind of a joke and kind of with an LOL moment. Just wow, dude. I don't even know what to say, you know? I mean, I'm not speechless because I'm BC Amplified. I never get speechless, rarely, but I gotta be honest, this is, it's one of those things where, yes, there's a chance Rusev is just fucking around. I mean, he's trolled people before, and he likes to have fun with people and kind of steer you in a different way. Rusev is one of those people. But if he is serious, which he absolutely could be. I mean, this was a legit Q&A, and he gave a pretty straight-up response before kind of making it funny at the end. If this is serious, guys, And he is absolutely 100% telling you how he feels. What a shame. That's literally what I could say is what a shame. The old man in Stamford, Connecticut was sitting on a gold mine if he wasn't so damn stubborn. When Rusev Day was happening, Rusev could have been legit bona fide top star status. I don't know if the top guy, but he could have been one of your big top guys in that company. And when he started to get some steam, the old man reeled him back. He swiped the rug from underneath his feet, and he almost put him in obscurity. In fact, he did put him in irrelevancy. And that's a damn shame. I'm the first one to admit, with Aiden English, I wasn't totally behind the Rusev Day gimmick. But I saw how the rest of the world was reacting, and I saw the star status that he held in the palm of his hand, even when he was a heel, guys, before it was even Rusev Day. When he was a heel, and he had that whole shtick with The Rock, or that whole segment with The Rock and Lana. And I'm like, dude, you gotta capitalize with this. The Rock just made this dude a name to casual fans. The diehards already knew Rusev was the real deal. Let's do something with him. And they had The Rock segment in Brooklyn, New York, and afterwards you didn't even hear of Rusev. Then he comes back stronger than ever with Rusev Day as a face. First of all, as a heel, and then he became a face because the thing got so damn over. And McMahon once again placed him in irrelevancy, just like Zack Ryder. When Zack Ryder had that thing with Kane and Eve Torres and John Cena and that whole storyline, and Zack Ryder was becoming a legit star, and Vince McMahon saw that, and he ruined Zack Ryder, and he placed him in obscurity. And then Zack Ryder crawled back. He crawled literally hands and knees back to superstar status. And he won in Dallas, Texas at WrestleMania, that ladder match for the IC championship. And Zack Ryder was at the top of that ladder, hoisting up that championship. He did that on his own. No help from Vincent Kennedy. And for a second time, Vince McMahon saw Zack Ryder getting over on his own. And the old man pulled the rug from underneath his feet and placed Zack Ryder in irrelevancy. A couple of times with Zack Ryder. A couple of times with Rusev. We see this time and time again too often with the old man. He does not like these individuals getting over on their own. But he'll push, push, and push for people like Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair. And when it doesn't work time after time, year after year, he's so stubborn. He refuses to admit it's a failure. So he keeps pushing Roman. He keeps pushing Charlotte Flair. And it doesn't get him anywhere. Meanwhile, the stars that the world actually wants, he throws them into catering or irrelevancy or obscurity. Anyway, that's why I say it's a damn shame. Because Rusev could have and should have been so much more in WWE. It got to the point where the whole last year of Rusev's contract, he wanted out, to the point where he had a falling out with Vince, and he was told to go home, and he was going home anyway. He didn't even want to show up anymore. Sound familiar? How about Brody Lee? He did the same thing. He was so upset. And Brody is a constant professional, Luke Harper. Luke Harper, Brody Lee, whatever you want to call him, he is a consummate professional. And even he said, I'm out of here, dude. I can't do this anymore. Neville had to walk out. Neville said, check you later. I am not doing your bullshit booking anymore. You're making me look like a clown. Sasha Banks at one point had to walk away. Sasha Banks had to walk away from what she loves the most because the old man was making it not only fun, but he was making it into a circus. Guys, I can sit here for another hour and tell you all the superstars that had to walk away. So it tells you, it shows you, it gives you a glimpse of inside those locker rooms and inside the company of WWE. Eric Young just told the world how exactly it is to work within WWE. I told you guys that in my last week's podcast. If you want to hear the whole story and what Eric Young said, check out last week's podcast. Eric Young was like, everything was being done and nobody knew why it was being done. We didn't even know if we could ask questions. And even if we did, the answer would change every 10 minutes. He said it's a broken system. These are exact quotes from Eric Young. You got a guy like Rusev, who just a couple years ago was on top of the world. The world was loving this Rusev Day thing. And now the guy's like, I'm done with wrestling. I'm done. For the last year, he walked away. He couldn't even do it anymore because he didn't want to. The fun was out. He didn't want to be a circus freak anymore. And now here he is, the old man ruined it for him so much, he doesn't even want to do it anymore. Now, I'm hoping he's not 100% serious with it. I think there is some seriousness in this, guys. He has been busting his ass on trying to build his social media and all that aspect. I think there's some seriousness in this. But I also think if a company like AEW was to come along with a big payday, I think Rusev is a smart dude and he would accept. He knows he still has the skills and the talent. He's got the look. He can show up and do the job. Not literally the job like on his back taking a pin, but he can literally do whatever AEW needs him to be and do. And I'm just using AEW as an example. You know, obviously Impact is also signing a bunch of dudes. Heath Slater, Gallows, Anderson. But I hope this isn't the end for Rusev because Vince McMahon should not be your final explanation point. Explanation? That made no sense. Exclamation. Thank you. I can speak. I almost passed English in high school, and I would have if I didn't drop out. Oh, we are on a roll, guys. It might be audio only, but trust me, we amped. And we're amped for Rusev, man. Vince McMahon should never be your final curtain call, man. You should always put out to the world your skills and your talents away from WWE and where you're appreciated. If it's in WWE, if Vince is actually appreciating you, then cool. If not, walk away, end your career on your terms. And you say, BC, this is his terms, man. He walked away, he's happy, and that's cool if he truly is. I just want him to end his career in a promotion that respects his skills and talents and respects him as a person. And I truly never got that from the old man. I truly never believed that the old man truly saw potential in him, and that's a damn crime. Anyway, I guess I could keep going on it, guys. Can you tell I'm amped up about that when I see somebody still so young, still looking the part, still so damn good at what he does, should have been already a superstar status type athlete, and when I see him saying, hey, I'm done, you know, I was used like a fucking piss poor joke my entire career in that company, and I just don't even want to do it anymore. When I see that, when I see him say, hey, I want to be a YouTuber now, hey, trust me, it's cool being a YouTuber at times, man, and you know, you get some great accolades on it, but he should be a wrestling superstar at the highest level right now, man. YouTube's not going anywhere. Twitch, whatever the fuck Twitch is, I don't even know what the fuck that is, but that's not going anywhere. I'm guessing, unless they suck as a company. And whatever other creative platform he wants to go on, it's not going to go anywhere. But I'll tell you this, your age, it does go somewhere. You get older, your skills and your talent will start to diminish. And you're going to probably, when you do get older, wish that you kind of put in a few more matches, man. Again, who am I to say? You know, if he's truly done and he just doesn't want to do it, that's his prerogative. He doesn't have anything that he owes us, trust me. I just don't want to see Vince McMahon ruin someone's passion so much that they never do it again. Man, I cannot stand that. Fucking old man does it all the fucking time. Anyway, guys, that's the podcast that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was audio only. But sometimes that's the most amped podcast, right? We just go full throttle. I hope to come back at you guys tomorrow. It could be an audio format, but no matter what, I hope to definitely hit you guys with the SmackDown review and reaction tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Until then, think, be, live, amplified always. Check you later.